Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
I'm gonna fly.
Fly? Humans can't fly.
But-
Humans can't fly.
But I want to fly.
But humans can't fly, okay? So how about before we go launching ourselves off the top of the JFSB, let's look at the history of the evolution of flight and look at maybe some animals that maybe shouldn't be able to fly that can, and maybe then let's look at how humans could fly, okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right, hi everybody, here we are in carpool biology. Thanks Kylie for not allowing Leah to jump over the edge of the JFSB. Now she knows she can't fly. But let's dive into this a little bit further and discuss evolution of flight. How did flight evolve in the animal kingdom from the beginning of time? To help us with that, we have Amelia Earhart to join us. So come on in, Amelia.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us on Carpool Biology. So what do you have to share for us in terms of the evolution of flight in the animal kingdom?
Okay, well, there are two primary characteristics of flight mechanics, and that is basically wings and volume of the species individually. And there are three main species that fly, which are insects, birds, and bats. And they each have specific things that make them, that they've adapted to in a predator-prey relationship. For example, birds, they have three different escape tactics, which are climbing, flight escape, horizontal speeding, and turning and escape by diving. And these all have come from basically them evolving to escape predators in their prey, in their role as prey.
Okay. Awesome, super helpful. Is there anything else you have to share with us?
One last thing.
Okay.
Possible causes for efficient escape performance have been not just predators, but also foraging, migration, and display, and the same can go for insects and bats as well.
Cool. So flight is pretty complex. It's evolved over millions and millions of years, and there's some really interesting things that it does to aid our fellow members of the animal kingdom. Thanks so much, Amelia Earhart, for joining us in Carpool Biology.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, our next guest on Carpool Biology is one of the Wright brothers. So come on in. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So
she is here to talk about some unique instances of flight in the animal kingdom. So please go ahead. Let me open up the computer for you so you're able to help navigate better. But please go ahead.
All right, cool. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So first I'd like to talk about this awesome bird that is now extinct, but his name was Argentavius magnificens.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's a big name.
And he is the largest bird that we know actually flew, and he had a 7-meter wingspan.
Wow.
Now, scientists aren't sure all of the mechanics of how this bird flew, but we're pretty sure he could not take off from the ground, so, jumping off of things was the only way that he could fly.
Okay.
Hummingbirds, on the other hand, are one of the few creatures that can do hovering flight, and they're really good at it, but they have to consume 5 times their body weight every day in order to be able to fly
In
like
food
that.
and energy, you're saying? Wow. That's amazing. So it takes a lot of energy to get off the ground.
It does. And these animals have specific adaptations that humans clearly do not have that allow them to fly.
Wow.
Another example are giant pterosaurs that are dinosaurs that are now extinct, obviously, but they had even bigger wingspans than the Argentavis bird that I just talked about. But we are pretty sure, based on a lot of evidence, that they could fly as well. And they had adaptations like very strong bones that are even 3 times stronger than bird bones in some tests.
Well, that's amazing. So there's been lots of unique instances of flight since the beginning of time, and dinosaurs and even hummingbirds today, and also bumblebees. Aren't they able to fly? And they're kind of defying the laws of physics and their ability, right? Really interesting. Thanks so much, Wright brother, for joining us in Carpool Biology.
All right, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So back in the car on this episode of Carpool Biology are 2 guests. We have Amelia Earhart and one of the Wright brothers. Thanks again for joining us. It was awesome. I'd like to now briefly just speak about humans and the evolution of flight, or our role in the animal kingdom. Now, obviously, we know that humans can't fly. We don't have the physiological structure to be able to enable the laws of physics to get lift. But we have, in a sense, surpassed evolution in the organic sense by enabling or by utilizing our intellectual capacity to fly through the use of airplanes and other type of flying structures, which is a real interesting time in the evolution of flight, where we've actually been able to use our mind to do something that only evolution was able to do for the animal kingdom previously. So we really appreciate you guys coming on. We're really grateful that Leah finally knows that humans can't fly, at least her body can't fly. And now we'll pass it off to Lainey to close out this episode of Humans and the Evolution of Flight.
Well, thank you, Brighton, and thank you, Amelia Earhart and the Wright brother, for teaching us about the evolution of flight. I hope you learned some from this segment of Carpool Bio. We talked a little bit about the mechanics of flight and what it takes to fly, a little bit about how species have adapted to survive with flight, and some unique instances of it. And Leah, the next time you think about going and jumping off a building to try and fly, think about what we can learn as humans from these species to fly in the sky with them.